We were raised by a single mother. When I was about 4 years old, our house burned down. Insurance didn't cover paying off that mortgage. So fortunately, my mom was a nurse and she was able to work a ridiculous amount of hours, some 80 hours a week, and pay off that mortgage while still finding us another place to live. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of really good role models in my life. Obviously, my mom being at the top of that list.
Okay. When a it's good, why rock the boat when my child support's low?
Yes.
Okay. We know who the style from.
She always very passionately said, I'm going to be an attorney. And she'd look at me with dead set eyes, and I 100% believed her. And not only just becoming an attorney, but actually being a good attorney that is going to make a difference. Erin's passion sets the bar for everyone else in our office. So we're at home on a Saturday night, it's 8 o'clock, Erin's phone starts buzzing. It says a lot of our staff who's feverishly working to prepare for the cases that we're going to handle that next week. They share Erin's passion, and it's contagious, and it's been spreading through our firm.
All right, thanks for staying so late. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. I love doing family law. I feel like I really help people every day. I feel like we really make a difference for people, and I feel like families are benefited from the work we do. I started this firm with $2,500 in my bank account, and in the course of a year, I've helped over 200 families find a way to get through the turmoil that they're experiencing. I'm Erin Morse, and I'm here to help your family find your new normal.
The information provided on this live Q&A does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, all information, content, and materials available in this live Q&A are for general informational purposes only. Information on this live Q&A may not constitute the most up-to-date legal or other information. Viewers of this live Q&A should contact an attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular legal issue. No listener, user, or browser of the site should act or refrain from acting on the basis of information on this live Q&A without first seeking legal advice from counsel in the relevant jurisdiction. Only an individual attorney can provide assurances that the information contained herein and your interpretation of it is applicable or appropriate to your particular situation. Use of and access to this live Q&A or any of the links or resources contained within the site does not create an attorney-client relationship between the listener, user, or browser, a website, authors, contributors, contributing law firms, or committee members and their respective employers. The views expressed at or through this live Q&A are those of the individual inquirer and their individual capacities only, and the law office of Erin Morse. All liability with respect to actions taken or not taken based on the contents of this live Q&A are hereby expressly disclaimed. The content on this posting is provided as is. No representations are made. The content is error-free. Enjoy the show. The information provided.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our live Q&A with attorney Erin Morse. I'm going to bring her in right now in 3, 2, boom. And we're going to zoom out real quick. There we go.
Well, too much space. All right.
There we go. Okay, perfect. How you been?
So good. Extra busy. The courts are like slowly opening up, so everything is.
Your calendar looks like, how would I say it? Someone going crazy in Battleship. It's just like all over the place.
I know. I'm trying so hard, but it's a good thing because we are finalizing some cases and getting things out, and that's what's happening. We're getting through them. So it's been great.
From your experience so far, like what's been a county where they're already like full throttle?
I don't know that any county is full throttle. For example, Judge Kranick had did a presentation earlier today, and it was online on Facebook. It was live streamed, and he's like, I did 5 trials in May, and I'm like, 5, you know? He's like, yep, 5 trials. I was like, I remember, I was digital, but I was like, oh my God. Normally they have a lot more than that. They'll have 5 in a week.
Yeah.
Rather than 5 in May. So
especially with the factor of COVID in the equation, I'm sure.
Of course. It is. So again, his point was that they're slowly opening up. They're trying to get the cases, and it's first come, first serve as getting those court dates, of course.
And with your cases so far, like how has the transition been now that like everything's slowly going like opening back up?
It's been chaotic. I have a few clients who are feeling pretty intense about it, and rightfully so, right? They're stressed about their situation, and I understand it. And I wish there was a hell of a lot more we could do to light some fires. We're getting some hearing times, but it's slow moving, and it's on, again, a case by case basis, and the judges are is appropriate for a virtual hearing or more closer to July, or if they plan on doing that later when it should be in person. So the judges are making that clear to us, and they're only approving some hearing dates. We don't even have hearing dates really for July for many judges. And normally they open up a few months in advance. So, they're slow go in even having the availability for it. So the J's are working hard. I know the judges are working hard. And a lot of times we're working hard kind of in the background. It added a lot of complicators for us to get it done. On our part, we can move cases forward, and now's a great time to be getting in and getting yourself prepared and filing and start the clock ticking on some deadlines to be getting answers, etc. So that's really where we stand.
So, where was I? Okay, so this week has been hectic. Personally working and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Did the storms that have been happening like crazy as
Yeah, I like it because I know that a lot of times this time of year in Florida, we are very dry,
yeah,
or we are subject to experiencing a drought. So the fact that we're getting a lot of rain is good for our environment. So it's a good thing in a way. The other day I had high heels, and I have a basket, right? So sidetrack. I have a basket in my office. It's a really cute basket of shoes. So I have a basket of shoes that I keep in my office. And what I do is I usually fill it up with flats and sandals and flip-flops, because at the end of the day, naturally after wearing high heels, my feet hurt. But so what I end up doing is I swap for the end of the day, or when I'm around the office, and I'm telling you a little bit, this is like how the sausage is made. So, and if I have to go home, I'll switch into those, and then I bring the bag back full of my flats, and I do the switch. Well, I was at the stage when I had to do the switch. It's like forgetting to turn over your laundry, and it was pouring out. Like it was a river in the parking lot, and I didn't know what to do because I couldn't walk in the particular heels I had. They were patent leather, and I would have created these like horrific blisters if they were wet and ruined my shoes. So I went barefoot.
Oh, our receptionist came with us last week to Marching downtown, and she forgot to bring up a change of shoes. So she marched with us about 7.8 miles in heels through downtown. And
wild.
When we got to the 6th mile, sixth mile, she had to stop. Like I can't no more. I can feel the blisters just coming up in my shoe. And for like a good solid half an hour, we just passed out in the grass right there on Orange Avenue. And the relief that she felt just to be able to take off her shoe was just like.
Why do we do this? Why is this a thing?
I'm really about to ask me, why do y'all put yourselves through that? What?
You know what?
Makes your calves look good? Yeah. What else?
I love them. I see those shoes and I'm like, those are amazing, and I want to wear them.
Speaking from experience, I have worn heels for entertainment purposes, and they're not easy.
Yeah.
There's they're not easy, and they do make you feel a little bit better because you are poised up a bit.
Right.
But the pain that comes afterwards.
They feel powerful. They do. You have certain
I can't
sense
believe
of.
I'm admitting that on live Q&A, but yeah.
And I'm short. I'm 5'2", so I wear heels so that people can just.
Yeah, it always makes me, I laugh on the inside when I see you walk through the office and you're no longer in heels with the heels, like that inch right there.
Yeah, it's almost like a child,
Speaking about the weather and everything, Marcos and I were almost hit by a tornado on Saturday.
My son was so anxious about the tornadoes. I'm going to tell him that you were hit. I told him you're safe and you're okay.
Peace.
Gabby too.
Oh,
Gabby
yeah.
almost was the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah.
But no, we were in downtown with the march, and we were trying to do something towards the end, and then everyone started getting text messages that there's a tornado coming, and then boom, there's a tornado hitting, and we're like, we don't see nothing. It's just a lot of rain right now. And then the officers that were outside of City Hall just started waving everybody in. So myself and Marco was going inside the courthouse with protesters and with police. So for just a few moments, with destruction outside, there was peace between the protesters and the police. And what we were saying, nothing happened, but I did see pictures of the damage that little tornado that lasted just like a few minutes.
Yeah.
Destroyed a lot.
For sure.
But you ready to do something?
I want to comment on that. I keep seeing stories. Obviously we're all watching the internet, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, we're not insulated from current events. And I feel like for me, my position and my role and my job is to listen, right? Because, and my job is to walk the walk, right? I don't feel like
Nice heels.
in nice heels, right? Walk the walk, right? Rather than just talk the talk, right? I do my work as the attorney that I am, and making sure that I respect people's rights, and I do that every day, and it's very important to me, and it's something that I take very seriously. And I want to take the position to allow people the space and opportunity to speak, to say what they need to say, to make their point. I support your free speech. I respect it. So I really like hearing opportunities where people are coming together for this purpose. I really like that we have platforms and we have the internet, and everybody has the opportunity to have a bigger voice, and keep with that voice, speak up, say your things. I'm about it.
And there were some signs, there were some protesters out there with, like, they brought tears to our eyes. They said some very powerful things, and there were some signs out there that you just read it and you're like, wow, okay, I think I know more about this all wrong. But it's been very powerful with all the protesting throughout the country. And there was a video that I saw of officers across from protesters. Protesters kneel, and automatically the officers kneel. And the next thing you know, you have everyone just hugging it out. Like it looks like they're about to fight, but no, they're literally just hugging it out. Protesters and police, and very, very moving stuff right now.
I really want them to do I would like to see this. I'm going to call to action, right?
Okay.
I would like them to do, remember how we had the flash mob dancers? That's what we need. What this world needs right now. Like, all of them will get together and flash mob dance. Like that.
When was the last flash mob?
They've been a lot. It's not trendy anymore. I'm old.
No, they should come back. Guys, bring back the flash mob dancing.
Yeah.
There, I said it right. I'm just messing it up all the time. But are you ready to jump into some questions?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. First one here. Go. Can a father lose his rights to children after 60 days of complete failure to co-parent?
No.
No. So why would that be?
Because you're petty.
Petty?
Whoever's just asked. Petty. Refusing to co-parent and being a detriment are very different things. Is refusing to co-parent a problem? Yes. But if your interpretation of refusing to co-parent is he doesn't know enough to just agree with me. The actual person who's refusing the co-parent is you. So I would need a lot more information on what this is, but the standard for terminating someone's parental rights or having sole parental responsibility or some other iteration of anything less than shared parental responsibility, you have to show there's a detriment, and you have to be able to logically draw a straight line from this person's actions to harm to the children, that it actually occurs. And in order to meet that burden, it's my professional opinion that on many occasions we will need a professional. You'll need some type of guardian ad litem or anything like that.
Okay.
So no, with those limited facts, 60 days of him being a pain in your ass isn't. You don't get to just take the kids away. Also, why do you want to? Stop worrying about it so much. Stop letting that get to you. That sounds a little bit to me like your anger and frustration with him is a little bit clouding your judgment, right? Because 2 months of him frustrating you means you think he shouldn't have his kids. That's wild.
And petty.
And Daddy.
Thank you so much for the question. Hopefully you can be a little less petty in your life and be happy.
Yeah.
All right, the next one that we have right here. Am I breaking any laws if I deliver my daughter's birthday presents to her foster family's address or mailbox?
I don't know if your parental rights have been terminated in your court order, but if you're going through a dependency action, then you should do that. It's a good thing. You want to provide support. You want to be dropping off supplies and gifts and cards, and you want to show how good and capable of a parent that you really are. So if you're just in the dependency action and your parental rights haven't been terminated and you're working towards making sure that you reestablish that bond and make a showing of the good and capable parent that you are, I think that's actually a really good thing, and it would be very positive for your circumstances. But if your parental rights have been terminated and you really are not allowed to contact the children, it probably would be a problem. And I think the question might lie in whatever court order removed you as their parent and what it says about your contact with them, and really how your relationship is with the foster parents. And with that, I'm going to get a little bit on a soapbox. When you're going through a dependency action or there's a circumstance where your children are in the care of foster parents, the best thing that you can do is make really good friends with the foster parents. Help them out, be there, be present with them, provide some money. Your children don't cease to need to be supported just because you're not supporting them. So if do the right thing, keep track of it, right? I don't write a check or get a check or a money order or whatever and give it to them and write that it's support, take a picture, scan it in, and save it if you need to prove it in your case. Your children need to be supported.
Amen. Yeah, you alluded to the question right at my follow-up question out of my mouth when it came to would there be any circumstances where she would not be allowed to go deliver a present to the home?
If your parental rights were terminated and you're not to have any contact with the children, it probably would be a problem. Am I saying it's a definite no? No. It depends. I don't have my sign. It's over in the other room. But I'm not saying it's a no. But if your parental rights have been terminated, I have a few more questions and then we can decide. But probably not. It's probably not a problem. You should also bear in mind that you might run the risk of, I don't know how to explain it. You might run the risk of them just throwing it in the trash.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I imagine if I were in a circumstance where someone was such a detriment to my son that their parental rights were terminated, and I hated them because they're abusive and they were mean or they abused my child, that if I received a birthday present for them, I'd be like, right into the trash. These are these situations in abuse. Moral of the story, don't abuse your kids. But I would insulate him from having to face that, right? Because children get confused.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can send me he won't visit me. They don't understand the legal process, and they shouldn't have to at their age. Adults don't understand the legal process, so why would you put that on a child? So when you give them the gift, if there was some other problem, it's gonna trigger some feelings in them and emotions and whatever. But It depends.
It depends. Wish my dad would have sent me a freaking gift. Thank you so much for the question. The next one that we have coming up is, my son's father did not pick him up from his court-ordered 8-week summer placement. What is my obligation now?
Nothing. What you should be doing is you should be, you should be doing everything in your power to facilitate and encourage that time sharing, whatever it might be. So what you should do is make sure that you reach out to him and say, hey, listen, I know you didn't come pick up the kids. We didn't have the opportunity. There's something I can do. Could I meet you in the middle? Again, this time sharing is for the benefit of your children, right? Empirical sociological data says that your children are benefited from having this relationship. So when you feel like it's a win that they didn't see their father, who's otherwise not a detriment, right? Your son gets the ultimate harm, right? So that's why you should really operate and make decisions based on that thought, that my son doesn't have a relationship with his father and his biological father. He's going to be harmed in the long run psychologically, and how he develops bonds with other human beings when he's an adult. So you really should make an effort with that, right? It's therapy, or hey, can I bring him halfway, or it's good, and encouraging your son to go see it, because they get confused and realize these things. So whatever you could do in your power to help him out, I know it's a tall order. It's a tall order, and I have a little bit of a saying, right, that I came up with. Not a very good one. Oh, isn't it always? I have a little saying that in every co-parenting relationship, not everyone, but many of them, there's always an eat parent, right? So you eat crap, right? And you're the parent who has to go above and beyond. You have to be the parent who, maybe if their dad has 2 days of time sharing during the school week, you make 2 days worth of lunches and allow your children to take it and put it in the fridge so that they have the lunch they want that's nutritious or whatever. You buy an extra lunch box, and you don't gripe about it, a $5 lunch box. You provide additional clothing. You number of things. If your children are on medication, then what you put in the effort to teach your children to be compliant with their own medication in whatever way that you have to do to help remind them, right? You set their medication time to be the 7:30 time that you have a phone call every day, and during your FaceTime every day, you go, hey, did you go get your asthma, your albuterol? We'll go get it and do it, and we'll do it on the phone, right? So you make the effort because it is for the benefit of your children. They still need their dad. You have a constitutional right to a really crappy parent. You really do. Plenty of us have had them. So again, your children have that same constitutional right. And the harm of not having that person, even though they're imperfect and don't remember the albuterol, and will send him to school with a Lunchables. Lunchables are delicious, but it might not be what you think is best. And maybe you help out and you put forth a little bit of extra effort for the benefit of your children. It's a good example you set for your children.
It's funny how you mentioned Lunchables, and I had this conversation a long time ago.
They have adult ones now.
Yeah, we have adult Lunchables now. They're called cheese and wine.
Or the P4 or whatever, P3.
No, we literally, as adults, we've taken the concept of Lunchables and now made wine downs around them, because we go to a nice
charcuterie boards.
There you go.
I love those.
Those are adult Lunchables, right?
I love it. I love it.
So we're going to move the soapbox, and we actually have a question that's coming in from the Facebook.
Ooh.
And I'm putting it right there. Do you want to go read that one, Kim?
How do you prove it? We'll have to see see them. Maybe you show what your Facebook looks like, because I imagine maybe it doesn't have the same picture that you have. Should I read the question?
Yeah. No, she posted it to the Facebook.
I went right into it. I went to court for a pretrial. I found out that there are allegedly Facebook messages between my ex and I. I have had him blocked for well over a year. How do I prove it wasn't me? I only communicate via text and email since our final hearing in December 2019. So how are you already with a pretrial if your final hearing was in 2019? Like, I have so many questions. Then that Facebook message, you have a couple of approaches. You'll have to testify that it wasn't you. You'll show that you don't have that message. Maybe you need to take a screenshot of what your messages look like. Perhaps you could blur them out if they are confidential, but do a little screenshot of your message links around the same time that you don't have that message and it doesn't exist. So I have to see them. Do they look janky? Are they things you wouldn't say? Maybe you go to where you have people blocked and you take a screenshot of that particular screen on Facebook, right? It shows that you have him blocked, and tell the court that.
So she actually put in a follow-up that you wanted to go into court to modify for more time and contempt over his behavior and phone calls. So
he sounds crazy. I hope you have a lawyer.
And it sounds like he may have hacked for Facebook.
I don't know if he hacked it. It sounds like he's doing some what is it when you modify documents? Photoshop?
Okay.
It's probably photoshopping. Or he made a fake Facebook account and sent messages back and forth.
Ooh. You
could do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Have you watched Catfish? So he's basically catfishing you. Maybe try to find that account. If you can find that account, that might be another way to prove it.
Now, would hacking someone's Facebook or social media or email be detrimental to proceedings?
It's illegal. So yeah. Again, maybe you should look and see if you can find that account, the same account. Also, the other thing that you could do is ask him to open up his messages and show the messages. Right? And you ask him to do it. Say, Your Honor, I want to ask that he, I don't know, if that would be my other tactic. I probably would do that in the pretrial meeting. Right? In the pretrial meeting, I'd be like, open your phone and let me see it, because I don't believe that those are true.
And usually when, because I have my browser open sometimes and my phone with Facebook Messenger, it'll show from one to another that
exactly, Jen. I get some comments to our private messaging. My friend Jen, who's a lawyer, just messaged me, and yeah, I agree. Ultimately, I agree that maybe maybe it doesn't matter, and he's got to ultimately prove it. But make him show his phone. If you can show on your phone that you haven't blocked, and then he shows that you have messages, how could those match? Because when you're blocked, you disappear from the other person's availability.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you got some things going on, Catherine. I truly wish you the best of luck. You sounds like you're going to have to get really creative in your case, and I hope that I hope that it does work out for you, because he sounds like a hell of a handful to deal with. And right, thank you, Jennifer. Don't back down to that crazy behavior. Don't let him win. He can't have it, right? And you kind of have to make sure you defend against it and keep your composure, remain professional and kind. And everything, right? So that's your part, what you got to do. Bye, team. Everybody's leaving.
Everyone's leaving us.
Time to go home.
Well, let's jump into the next question. And actually, that was that Jennifer, or was that the Catherine? Who sent that question. Thank you so much for your participation, Catherine.
You're welcome, Catherine.
And here we go. My son's father did not. Oh wait, that's the same one. Whoops. I sidetracked my bed. Get rid of that one. And how can you prove child abandonment? What is considered child abandonment in the state of Florida?
It's a period. Thanks, John. It's a period of time that has lapsed since the other parent has seen the child, and sporadic, inconsistent, de minimis contact or a phone call here and there isn't going to qualify. It's really there is some statutory and some case law on what abandonment means, but it's not enough of a straight line in how it plays out in real life, right? It's probably not a year, isn't enough, but you're getting close. So it's going to be a number of years that they're just not around and they don't know you. The other concern that a lot of times courts have for the purpose of proving abandonment is making sure that one parent didn't engage in parental kidnapping, right? So imagine that you kidnap the child and you move across the country and then you file there and you say, he abandoned us, when in fact he just couldn't find you. So that's a hurdle that the court has to get over. And I think in order to succeed in an abandonment case, you have to show that that is not the case, that he has knowledge, he knows where his children are, and he has made the choice not to be around, or that he was around where you were living together, knew the children, left, and you now cannot find him. So, you've got some work to do. And do you need to if he's gone? Do you need to? Do you need to prove it if he's gone?
No.
What do you need?
At that point, I mean, he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone.
Move on. Thank you so much for the question. The next one coming in right now is, in Florida, how can I sign my unborn baby over to his father at the hospital while I have a current DCF case open? Can't that even be done?
No, not at the hospital.
But it can be done.
Eventually.
Then, okay.
It's an adoption proceeding kind of idea. It would be like a private adoption.
So there's no way she can give parental rights before the child is born?
No.
No.
You can begin to contract for it, but a mom will retain the rights to change her mind in the 3 days after it happens, not the birth,
Okay.
after the signing over. So no, there's no way it can happen before and be legitimate. You can start the paperwork, you can have all you could have signed it, but you will still retain the right to change your mind for a period of time.
Is that standard in adoptions that they have 3 days?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But usually because you start the paperwork with a signature and then you file.
Okay.
So your 3 days happen before like the clerk even assigns you a case number.
Okay, well, that's some good information right
Yeah,
there.
and listen, I'm not saying that there aren't other ways. There's always ways attorneys get creative, but that's, broad strokes. Broad strokes.
All right, thank you so much for the question. Let's go to the next one. Okay. I'm a musician. My wife and I split over 12 years ago. However, she helped with a few hooks here and there. Would she be entitled to royalties? I asked because I recently signed a recording deal.
Can she prove it? Maybe. There's a chance. Did you hear what happened to Alan Thicke? Not Alan Thicke, that's his dad who
Robin
was on. What?
Family Ties.
No.
No.
Try again with Kirk Cameron.
Oh. I can't remember.
I can't remember what it was either. It was like in the 80s.
In the comments, if you remember the name of the show with Alan Thicke and Kirk Cameron.
Hella. I can't remember. Alan Thicke was the dad. Robin Thicke, he had to pay a lot of money to, for stealing his hook. So I think there's a viable claim there. If you signed a recording deal, and again, this isn't my area of law, but, I would first contact an attorney and potentially an attorney at your record company and perhaps pay her for her contribution and have her sign it away. Give her a fair and reasonable settlement at this time so that you don't have this to worry about in the future. Why would you let it come back? Why would you risk it? Also, speak to an attorney who specializes in this.
This would be copyright. Not copyright, no. Intellectual property.
Same idea. Copyright is intellectual property, and you have the copyright to your music. Yes, it would be. And I really think, again, if you sign a recording deal with a big enough record company, they're going to have an attorney who can advise you on this. If not, if you don't really care to talk to them about it because you're concerned that it might ruin your recording deal, and I would understand that. Attorneys, you have attorney-client privilege even when you just consult with an attorney. So go consult with an attorney. Pay a consultation fee. Don't be afraid to do that because somebody whose time is valuable and their advice is valuable is going to want to make sure that they're compensated for it.
And think of it as an investment to peace of mind.
Of course. And if you find out that what you should do is create, some type of a waiver Again, that's based on, I don't practice this area of law and what you know, but I would definitely go talk to an attorney on the best way to kind of, solve it. And again, if she's entitled to some settlement on it and she wants to be done with it and she doesn't want to have to fight this in the future and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on attorney's fees, because sometimes with cases like this, and again, I don't know for sure, it's not my area. Sometimes with cases like this, what happens is you get these huge judgments and it's fantastic, but both sides of the attorneys, they get paid first. So it reduces your judgment by an incredible margin. So it may not be worth it, right? The juice might not be worth the squeeze in the future for your wife. So I don't know, either reach out to her or risk it.
And I'm sure producers, like, when they hear a song, they know, like, it's going to be a hit. They know it'll be.
Whether it is or it isn't, or I'm sure, of course, right? That's what they all want. But
Yeah.
Plenty of songs have been released and produced that we're like, ooh. So people have gotten it wrong. With that being said, again, solve the problem now. Nip it in the bud. I contact her if she wants to. I don't know, find a way and do it by seeking the advice of a attorney who does intellectual property. That's what you would Google search, and more specifically, one that practices in the area of music. Right? There are a lot of very specific things when it comes to protecting the intellectual property of music. So.
And if you can't find anyone online, I'm going to put up the numbers in Florida Bar for their referral service.
Yeah.
And if you call that number right there, you'll be able to be connected with an attorney in your area that specializes in the field of law that you have. So you have 1-800-342-8011. Let's go to the next one. I have an injunction against my kid's mom for trying to run me over with a car. She is constantly driving by my job, taunting me. I really don't want to have her arrested, but I don't know what to do.
You do know what to do. Your option is to have her arrested or don't.
In that situation, so you're basically just saying, like, just like nip it in the bud.
Do you want her not taunting you? If you're okay with her taunting you, then let her. She's violating the injunction by doing that. What was the point of getting an injunction if you don't enforce it?
True.
Come on. You know what to do. You're just a nice person, What is that?
Nice
you are not petty, and I'm telling you to be more petty, right? So nothing makes sense. No, it again, sometimes when people are, she was really willing to run you over. Again, that's not safe. It doesn't sound safe for your children. It's not a good example that you want to set, and don't be afraid to set the example that I stand up for myself when whatever's going on means that I'm unsafe. So again, if you know what you need to do, you either have her arrested or you violate her in the injunction directly, you file in your civil injunction that she's violated. I would come forth with, evidence and create a little summary of the events and keep track of it. Again, keep track of that notebook and, the Morse notebook. I should make that.
And we talked about this.
I know I should put it available online on a book that could be purchased, a notebook, and for it to like Morse for your divorce, right? Like, there's a morsel for you.
That's a good one.
Hey.
Thank you so much for the question. Let's go to the next one. How do I go about closing a child support case that the state of Texas deemed closed in 2016 but reopened in 2017? In 2017.
Why does it need to be closed? Children have a right to be supported. Do you think they don't need to be supported? Ooh, did I just call you out?
You just put the table right there.
You'll have to file in Texas. You'll have to talk to a Texas attorney. I know here in Florida, the only way that you would close a child support case is if they turned 18.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the question.
Good luck.
There we go. Okay. What is a request for temporary relief for a timeshare plan used for exactly?
So a request for temporary relief means you're filing a motion. The affirmative relief that you want is a time-sharing schedule and a parenting plan. And what you're asking for is the opportunity to get in front of the judge before the time of trial, but after mediation, at least locally. And you're asking for the judge to help you get time sharing with your children, or help you establish a schedule to reduce the disagreements that you're having with your significant other because the two of you can't agree, right? So going to mediation shows that you can't agree, and it
I think you're going to stop for a second, but no, we're full bars. Sorry about that, folks. And
this is anonymous.
Here we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. I have a parenting plan in place from our final judgment. On nights that our kids are with him, he is constantly going out. He always leaves the kids with his mom. Can you do this? Can't I just keep the kids?
Are you really worried about it? Um, it, I maybe. Do you have a right of first refusal in your parenting plan? If you don't have a right of first refusal, maybe not. But during dad's time sharing, the children's ability to have, visits and hang out with his family is during his time sharing. So I know he's constantly going out, and again, is the juice worth the squeeze on this? If he's constantly going out and he's out till midnight, he comes home drunk and he's, not doing what he's supposed to do to be a good parent, yeah, I mean, maybe we can do something on that. But, you know, is grandma a bad person? Is she someone that the children shouldn't be around? If grandma's great, maybe that's better. Maybe it's better that they get to, bake cookies and they get their homework done and they eat a nutritious meal rather than maybe dad would have ordered McDonald's on Uber Eats and tell them to go get it from the door and, not have any interaction with them, even if he was home, right? Maybe they enjoyed their time with grandma. I know my mom had, lived with us to help me with my son, and I know my son was really benefited by it. So, I don't have a parenting plan. That's, I that I but I needed her help, and there were a lot of evenings and a lot of mornings where she was helping me a lot with my son. I can't. It takes a village to raise a child. So let your children have the village. Your children shouldn't be isolated or exclusively around just mom and dad. I understand that the law says, if mom can't be with the child or dad, it really should go to the other parent, especially in a time sharing arrangement. And that's just for a default so that the children aren't being passed around a bunch of weird strangers. So that, I get it. There's a theory behind it. But, you know, um, I don't know, maybe don't let them not have a village. Now, if there are more facts in this scenario, grandmother is also someone who's harmful to the children. Grandma doesn't really take care of them. He hasn't seen the kids in actual weeks because he just drops them off at grandma's, and it's not right because the grandparents are starting to call you because they need money and they need help from them. They want grocery money and they want the children's clothes. Yeah, then we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something.
Thank you so much for the question. So we got two more, and then we have our last segment, which is Erin Morse. But here is second to last question. Recently, I took my 18-year-old to protest. His mother lost her shit and had her lawyer file a motion for sole time care, okay, on grounds of endangering the minor child. Child was safe. Your thoughts?
Um, his mother was petty and is using this as a weapon. I understand that a lot of times the protests were safe, but there were plenty of them, like Patricio just described, where we all ran inside to safety. Not we, I wasn't there, but everyone ran inside to safety. And the police were being kind and kept people safe, and it didn't feel like a protest in that moment. You guys all just were sheltering from the elements. In that instance, the child would not have been unsafe. I saw Patricio's videos. He would have been teaching, your child about a constitutional right that they have. You have the constitutional right to protest and have freedom of speech. And, having these conversations with your children can be and is valuable, and letting them see it in action, right? This is what it looks like. This is what freedom looks like. This is what people speaking up and making sure that their voices are heard. This is it in action. You should see it. You should experience it. This is an opportunity, right? So every parent wants to teach their child things that are different, and they want to make sure that they have the experiences. And I don't think that seeing a protest is an invaluable experience. Again, you have the right to parent the way you want to parent. He wasn't in danger. You can't just say protest and it equals danger. We know what the slippery slope that is. We're literally protesting because of those type of assumptions and slippery slopes that one begets or equals danger, that you get to assume a set of circumstances is dangerous, and that's just not true. So you would need more. You would have to be able to draw a line to the real dangerous situation. So again, was the child harmed? My assumption is no. And there is no problem with a parent parenting in the way that they see fit, and trying to teach them a lesson. And the child's 15.
I was 13. And my mom took me to a protest, and it was for Elian Gonzalez when he was taken from his home.
Oh.
And it was a really cool. I mean, there were no violence. And I know the protesting level is a huge difference between what's going on now. But yeah, it's a really great learning experience to be part of a protest where, in a sense, you're not breaking the law, but you're exercising rights that you don't really get to exercise on a daily basis.
No, and people standing up for what they believe in is a good thing. We stand for that in this country. So I don't think that taking your child to this protest was a bad thing. I don't think that this is going to be a good enough reason for temporary sole custody. And I think the motion is dumb, and I want to represent you on it.
Thank you so much for the question. We are now down to our last one. And the question is, what happens if mother dies and attorney is not established? I'm not sure if I'm on the birth certificate or not.
If the mother dies and attorney is not established, call a lawyer ASAP. Establish your paternity as soon as possible so that you can get custody. The law states that you are the child should be placed with their other parent, their biological parent. So, your son, I have a son, I don't know. Your child needs you right now, right? They lost their mother.
Yeah.
And extended family's rights are not superior to that of the father. That doesn't mean I am not recommending to you in any way that you take the child completely away from the mother's family. But, I would zoom into action and, make some things happen, start filing some cases and doing some things because your child needs you. But I mean that even if the mom was alive, your child needs you. So let's get cracking.
All right, thank you so much for those questions. It's been an awesome Q&A. Now we're introducing a new segment that we have on the show, and it is Erin Reacts. I see some things from the internet, and mind you, I'm not an attorney. I sometimes do have like a big kid, and I lose my shit when I see these things. So I want to see from a professional standpoint how these things would, how would an attorney, a person of very high professionalism, would react to this. And I got.
Should we get someone who meets that qualification?
Huh?
Should we get someone in here who meets that qualification? Are they behind the?
So, like we did last week, I have a video, I have a picture, and I have a story to go over with you. So, you ready?
So ready.
All right. So I have introductory music into this story. So give me 1 second. And earlier this week, or I think it was today, cops is now canceled amid protests over police brutality. Now, I
Cops.
love Cops.
Me too. The show.
The show.
I want to be polarizing anybody.
The show originally started back in 1989. It was canceled in 2013 by Fox, and then picked up once again, brought it back to life by Spike TV. That's now Paramount Network.
Okay.
I loved Cops as a kid because we were seeing like the bad guys getting caught.
Or we were seeing police in action. Were there ever episodes of Cops where the guys got away? They should have showed more of that. They should have shown more of the reality.
I don't think so.
It's only when they caught him, right?
Like if they pulled someone over and like if that's not the guy, like you never see.
Yeah.
You don't see that. You see them.
Or they pull someone over and he leaves and they're like, oh well, going too fast. Like, where they're like, that's a really fast motorcycle and it would be dangerous for me to get in the car and drive after him. So
we had a fun drinking game in college where this is when DVR started to become a big thing. So we would pause it before the officer showed up to the scene, and we would call it. What is it? Is it drugs? Is it domestic violence? Is it we would come up with different scenarios. So like the person who would get it right wouldn't drink, but everyone else would have to chug. So and on the weekends there'd be marathons.
Yeah.
So by that time we're already like, thank God we're getting.
Yeah, 2 episodes down. You're like, I don't want to be on one. Yeah. That's really disappointing.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean it's a childhood memory, right? It's a classic. I don't know that I saw the show Cops in that perspective because I think Cops maybe could have shifted their focus to circumstances or I guess not. I don't know how they would handle it. I don't know how I would handle it if I were a producer on that show. I liked the show because it was funny and interesting, but maybe it needed to take a different approach. Maybe they needed to get a little bit more creative. Maybe the concept was outdated.
I never saw because like I would when watching the show you would see the bad guy get arrested. Like they would find drugs on him.
Yeah.
Or then like the ones where like the individual purposefully ran from the police. Like at that point what he is resisting arrest.
Yeah.
He's causing danger to society, disruption of private and public property. I mean the list just goes on and on. If you're literally driving and running away from the cops. There's no brutality right there. They have to, at that point, I feel that officers would have to use excessive force. Because,
excessive means it didn't match the incident. So let me lawyer on you.
Okay.
Right?
So.
It means it was outside of what was necessary. So excessive, like more than what was needed for what the circumstances called for.
Well, I mean, if the individual is running.
Right, so you see the difference?
Yeah.
Right, you can use force, and you can use a lot of force if you need to. Can't go over the line. What's the line? That's the question. Do police officers take advantage of that? Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. So, there's a lot of education and a lot of listening I think a lot of people need to do. So maybe this is necessary. Maybe a lot of change needs to happen. A lot of hearts and minds and concepts and realities need to be opened up at this time. And maybe going, let's put this particular show at least on hiatus or cancel it for the foreseeable future at this time is maybe the right way to go. We all need to take a step back because I do think that something should happen. Like a step back should be taken and again, we need to listen. Like, people are protesting.
Yeah.
We have freedom of speech. We need to fucking listen. Let's that's how I feel. I'm like, I support your free speech and I want to hear you out. And I want to hear it. And I think the shift in the conversation is appropriate. And I think that, this is how we get change. This is the purpose. This is what we do. We can see it's happening, right? So change is happening. The winter is coming.
Before I go to the next one, I want to ask you this one just to build up. What's like your guilty pleasure food?
Food?
Yeah.
I like dessert.
Okay.
I have a major sweet tooth. So if I were to guilty pleasure something, it would be some kind of a dessert, you know, a tiramisu, a creme brulee.
Okay.
Those are the things that would probably convince me. But I want it to be like worth it.
Okay.
That's my thing. Like I don't want just, you know, I'm not going to just pick up something from Publix. I want it to be worth it.
Okay. No, my guilty pleasure is a pepperoni stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will eat half of that.
High class. High
Just
class.
by myself because I just love cheesy, extra cheese. Right? And there are people out there who, what's the point? What do you mean, what's the point?
It's delicious. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I saw this picture today, and I nearly blew my lid because I don't know if this is gross or if this is delicious or if this is a genius. So it's gonna.
If you just show me a pizza with pineapples, I'm gonna.
Yeah, no. The
Just close the laptop.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza.
Yes.
Okay, so let me make sure it comes up clearly, and let me remove that right there. So this individual took garlic bread from Olive Garden, cooked a hot dog, and put them together.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad either.
I want like a really good, delicious hot dog, but I'm not mad.
Alexis.
Alex.
Alex. You made this comment
I would
today when I show you the photo.
I would eat this.
What would you change about that though?
That would be a great idea if it was like a good sausage instead of just like
Oh, nay.
an Oscar mac.
It's got to be a hot dog. America, and that's Olive Garden.
Nah, I put it like
I think I would eat this.
grilled onion,
Listen, breadsticks from Olive Garden are
God tier.
Yeah.
hot dogs are great. That's another childhood guilty pleasure that, you know, I would really, I know for shame. But peanut butter and jelly also is one that I think is a lot underrated, especially with a fancy jelly.
In my head, I'm just screaming baseball bat. Are you guys saying peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly.
Oh, do we all want to talk about the story of the guy that read that song?
No, thank you.
No.
Another time.
Let me get this one out. But so
I need to know what y'all think. I want to hear some in the comments. A hot dog with Olive Garden. Listen, putting an Olive Garden breadstick with any meal is the right decision.
Now I kind of want to make like a little ham and cheese using an Olive Garden breadstick.
Have you ever made like the little ham and cheese sandwiches on the Pillsbury croissants?
Not on those croissants, but the Hawaiian rolls.
So good.
I would just slice right across and put nice mild cheddar, Boar's Head honey ham, and then toss it in the oven. Of course, butter up the top of the bread and let that get to a nice golden crisp. And by far some of the best ham and cheese little sliders.
That sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. I don't cook. I
Uber that one is, like I said, I'm not mad.
Yeah, if I was like over, especially if you were drunk, imagine having that at like 2 a.m. when you're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Legit.
I kind of, honestly, like I think this weekend I'm gonna try this.
Report back.
I'm gonna grill some hot dogs and I'll do it on Facebook Live, and I'll make it happen. I'm like, yo, this is. We'll see you guys will see my reaction.
Report back.
Oh yeah. So right before we end the show, I do have the last one, and it is a video. And this video, I saw, and I was like, okay, what's going on? But then the action happens, and I'm like, holy crap, that's cool. But then I'm like, wait a second, this is cool.
A lot of buildup.
There it is, yeah.
You better produce.
Deliver right
Yeah,
now.
deliver.
And going to it. And we're going to blow it up. This man outside.
Oh, this is very Florida. Oh, he's got a t-shirt. It's adorable.
Now, I know this exact spot because this is Cocoa Beach. Right there next to Ron John's Surf Shop on the main highway, the main street before the ocean.
Yeah.
But The reaction that the gator makes.
Is that a gator or its nose isn't? Oh, it's a gator. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gator. And
It's awesome. It's so Florida. There he is, Florida man. He's right there. It's awesome. We found him. Like, where's Waldo? Where's Florida man?
oh yeah, no, right, yeah.
Today, that's where he is.
I mean, not he was
Coco.
Beach.
Yeah, he's bringing his gator to get key lime pie. Like, every bit of this is so Florida. He's picking up a gator in front of a place of business. The gator has a T-shirt on because why not, Florida man? And they're going to get key lime pie, like, which is a Florida staple. This is America right here, America.
Like the gator looks happy. Like the gator's like wagging.
I know. He's like, thanks, Dad. Yeah, yeah.
I'll do it one more time.
Yeah.
But I would love to do a Disney T-shirt.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Mickey Mouse needs to be. And then he waves. He's like, bye, Mom. Bye, bye. Daddy taking me for key lime pie. That's so funny. That's hilarious. What? Oh.
When I first saw the video, I had made a comment, well, to bring him in because he's taking too long to smoke.
The best part about it is that you repeated your joke.
What's one of the most Florida things you've seen down here? Now, we're both from up north.
Yeah, I'm originally from the Northeast. Where do I even start? Last week, getting their diplomas on jet skis. That was the most Florida thing ever. There are a lot of things that are very Florida, are different culturally. You know, my son wears jackets as a novelty. That's very Florida to me. That's wild. You know, I remember being a child and being like, I don't want to wear a jacket. It's gonna ruin my outfit. But now, when I have the opportunity to wear a jacket, it improves my outfit.
Okay, and for me, one of the first things that I saw was someone getting out of their car and picking up a turtle and walking it across the street, because apparently this turtle was going through the street, and of course traffic's happening.
Yeah.
And people don't want to get the turtle get hurt, so
Yeah.
picks them up and takes them across the street to whatever water source is there. I will admit I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I stopped doing it because of the last incident that occurred when I picked up one of the turtles.
What happened?
We picked them up, and there was no water. There was nothing around, not even forest. It was just complex after complex. So we're just kind of going, let's pull up a map, and we pulled up Google, and we found the nearest water source. And we're like, all right, let's just go out there, which is maybe a quarter mile where we're at. So we put the turtle on my lap in the car, and we start driving.
Why on your lap?
Yeah.
I already know.
Yeah, and so the turtle went ahead and went number one and number two in the car, and I thought I smelled the worst smells ever. No, turtle excrement is by far one of the worst smells in the car. And then, like, we were actually on our way to a baby shower, so I had to explain why I stunk so bad. And
I would have just moved it so it doesn't get hit by a car.
Yeah, no, we want to make sure the turtle's going to be safe and make it all the way across. But
I just don't get hit by a car. You'll find your way, bro. That's not that strange to me because I'm from a beach town.
Okay.
So making sure that we protect our wildlife and beaches and the animals there, and making sure we don't hurt them or make our homes, or we have, there's a lot of conservation. Obviously, it's Massachusetts and we lived in a beach town, so taking specific care of the wildlife and everybody making just their own concerted effort to do it is like really common practice where I'm from. So them moving the turtle felt normal. I was like, oh, it's turtles and not lobsters or not whatever it was up there for us.
Coming from the city like Chicago.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what a turtle was like. I thought they all lived in the sewer and ate pizza. Well, when I was a kid, gators were just cartoons that I would see every now. I've never at that point. I'm telling you, down here in Florida, I didn't know that much of wildlife. Because wildlife for us in the city is a homeless guy running with a shopping cart down Michigan Avenue, and it's not like I think I have a more appreciation for nature because I wasn't exposed to it as much as a child.
Mhm.
So like now that when I see it, like I'd gone to Sebastian Inlet last weekend, and I was able to swim near dolphins. And I was crying because it was so effing beautiful. Other people like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I did Discovery Cove a few years ago. Like, no, this is the wild. This is like I didn't spend $200 to swim with a mammal. I just came out here.
Yeah, with a trapped mammal. I'm from a city. The city I'm calling, every city, Orlando's the city beautiful,
Yeah.
whatever. The city I was born in is the whaling city.
Whale City.
So, seeing whales and seeing wildlife is very commonplace for me and for where I'm from. So nature and protecting animals and our environment's like a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing where we're from, right? it's so down here it's not new, not news. It's expected, right? You make sure that you drive knowing that deers are everywhere. We have tons of deer where I'm from, and you just like you wait for them to cross. You do whatever you have to do to protect them. You try not to shine light at them because it confuses them and makes them kind of go blind. And yeah, you find your way.
I was about to throw a funny right now. Geez, I lost it. It's fine. Yeah, it's something about pigeons up north and everything. But Erin, anything else you want to drop before we close the show?
I don't think so. I don't think there's been any no good news. Any good news?
I mean, I can go personal.
Yeah.
My mom got taken off her ventilator on Monday after testing positive for corona about a week and a half ago,
Nice.
and she's making strides. Actually, this afternoon.
How's she feeling?
Actually, thank you asked me that because this afternoon the doctor was telling me that she was asking about it. So she's actually having
She does love you.
conversations with the doctor, and the doctor was telling me like she's showing great signs of improvement. And the doctor asked her like if you want us to call your son to speak with him, but she respectfully said no because of the way she sounds. So I'm sure if I were to hear her, I'd go, Niagara Falls from my eyes.
Do you guys both have iPhones? You could FaceTime.
No, and honestly, she has a Samsung tablet, so we could possibly do a video of some sort, but no, no iPhone in our family.
It probably would be nice for her to have an opportunity to see you face.
Yeah.
So see if you can somehow find a way to arrange a video chat.
Oh yeah, no, we did one.
Oh, great.
Before it went crazy, and we do video chats every now and then.
Does your mom have a cell phone?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said a Samsung tablet like this.
Well, no, she has a tablet so she can watch her movies.
Oh, yeah.
For vision, and she has a phone so she can make her calls.
Oh, great.
She doesn't want to be focused.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I have my contacts in,
But no, thank you so much to all our wow, I lost the word. Loyal listeners.
I
and
know.
followers.
We hear you, even if you're sending us love in all our mediums, right? We get them all. We get it. We love you too.
You guys be safe, and we'll see you guys next week, Thursday at 5:35 p.m.
Don't forget to send us your questions.